During the late Middle Ages and the dawn of the early modern era, a revolutionary weapon reshaped European military arsenals, the handgun. Though early firearms were rudimentary and not particularly efficient, their novelty and potential captivated military innovators. Over time, as these weapons became more reliable and effective, they gradually supplanted traditional missile troops such as archers and crossbowmen. This transformation is a cornerstone of how modern historians understand the rise of handgunners. Historian Clifford J. Rogers argues that by the mid-1500s, firearms had become the primary projectile weapons used in European warfare. People living at the time recognized the shift. Writing in 1591, Robert Barrett remarked, "War has changed much with every new invention. What worked then is outdated now. Since fiery arms emerged, the art of war has evolved greatly." But handguns didn't dominate purely on technical merit. Two major societal shifts made them increasingly attractive. First, Europe's population and economic output expanded, but the traditional military elite, like knights and men-at-arms, did not grow in step. This imbalance created a need for more soldiers to protect more people, prompting a shift toward weapons that required less specialized training. Two systems emerged as practical options: the pike and the firearm. While they did require practice, especially in formation, recruits didn't need a lifetime of preparation to wield them effectively. Unlike the longbow, which required early and continuous training, a pikeman or early firearm user could become battlefield-ready after just a few weeks. Military writer Humphrey Barwick suggested that pikemen could be trained in 6 days, and handgunners in about 2 months. Even that level of preparation was minimal compared to the years of training demanded by elite warriors. If you love uncovering the stories behind historic weapons and how they shaped warfare, make sure to subscribe to Weapons Archive. We've got plenty more fascinating tales and deep dives coming your way. The second major factor favoring firearms was progress in armor design. Around 1500, armorers began quenching steel plates like blades, drastically improving their defensive capabilities. This heat treatment made high-quality armor significantly more resistant, though prohibitively expensive. As a result, most soldiers wore lower-quality plate, which still offered substantial protection. Traditional weapons like bows and crossbows struggled to penetrate even mid-grade plate unless conditions were ideal: close range, direct hit, and heavy draw force. Quenched armor made from high-carbon steel was on another level entirely, reaching Vickers hardness ratings of about 350, compared to 150 for untreated steel. Such armor could absorb roughly twice the energy and was virtually impervious to arrows and bolts. By contrast, handguns weren't bound by the physical strength of their users. Comparative modern tests suggest that even the strongest archers could only achieve projectile energies of about 130 to 150 joules. A powerful crossbow could hit 200 joules, but a musket ball, weighing 1.5 ounces, could be propelled with over 3,000 joules of energy. A 1-ounce ball from an arquebus hit with around 2,700 joules. Even a small cavalry pistol could exceed 1,000 joules. Still, these energy figures don't tell the full story. The round, soft lead bullets of the era weren't aerodynamically efficient and lost speed more quickly than arrows. Moreover, lead deforms more easily than hardened steel arrowheads, reducing penetration. A bullet from a pistol, for example, would struggle to penetrate basic armor at 200 yards, while arrows could remain dangerous at that range. However, at close quarters, a pistol could be lethal even against armored foes, while arrows often failed to incapacitate similarly protected targets. Muskets were far deadlier. Tests suggest that a musket ball could pierce elite-quality armor at 200 yards, break through average armor at 400 yards, and kill an unarmored person from up to 600 yards away, far beyond the reach of any bowman. Additionally, musket wounds were more destructive than arrow wounds. An arrow might leave a narrow 45 cubic centimeter wound channel, but an arquebus ball could cause a cavity 3 times that size at 100 meters, and up to 8 times larger at close range. According to Rogers, being hit by a musket ball usually meant a soldier was out of the fight, whereas individuals hit with multiple arrows often continued fighting. Yet firearms had drawbacks. Even in skilled hands, early guns couldn't rival archers in long-range precision. In Tudor England, archers regularly practiced at distances of over 200 yards, aiming at 18-inch targets. Arquebusiers, by contrast, trained at just 120 yards, often firing at enormous targets 20 feet across, with much larger bullseyes. Smoothbore barrels caused balls to wobble unpredictably, known today as the Magnus effect, greatly reducing accuracy. The problem was worsened by the common use of undersized bullets, which further degraded performance. That said, on the battlefield, gunners didn't need to pick off individual enemies. Their targets were typically large pike formations dozens of meters wide. Even then, the effective range remained limited. Contemporary sources like Leonard and Thomas Diggs noted that if shots weren't fired within 100 paces, they often wasted powder without causing significant harm. Another major disadvantage was the rate of fire. A skilled longbowman could shoot 9 to 10 arrows per minute. Firing a gun, however, was a slow and involved process. A musketeer had to secure his match, clean the pan, prime it with fine powder, load regular powder, insert a bullet and wadding, tamp it all down, and prepare the matchlock. A Dutch manual lists 42 separate steps. Barwick estimated that in controlled conditions, a trained shooter might manage 40 shots per hour, but many commanders expected just 10 shots per hour in combat. Larger muskets, which needed a firing rest, were even slower. Despite this, the power and armor-piercing ability of a single well-placed musket shot outweighed the higher volume of ineffective arrow fire. By the mid-16th century, firearms had become the dominant projectile weapon in European armies. The main reasons: they required less training to master, and they were effective against the toughest armor available. Urban growth, cheaper gunpowder components, rising costs of archery equipment, and continued firearm innovation all contributed to this shift. Missile troops overall gained prominence in armies where they hadn't already played a major role. For many, it was a revelation of the time that, as one observer put it, battles could be won by fire alone, without ever needing to come to blows. The rise of the handgun didn't just change warfare, it redefined the very fabric of armies and the lives of those who served in them. From the humblest arquebusier to the grand strategy of kings, firearms reshaped history. If you found this deep dive into early firearms fascinating, there's so much more waiting for you. At Weapons Archive, we explore the forgotten edges of history, where craftsmanship met combat and technology changed the course of empires.